Welcome to Personal Finance Deep Dives, where we help you make your money work for you. Let me start with a little riddle for you. Why did the man break up with the calendar?
Oh, okay. I'm genuinely curious about this one. Lay it on me.
He said he felt too much pressure to budget every day of the month.
Hmm. That's actually pretty good. And honestly, it kind of hits close to home for many of us, doesn't it? That feeling of constant pressure.
It absolutely does. Which is perfect, because today we're diving deep into something really foundational for financial well-being: budgeting. And we know for so many people that very word budget can feel like a heavyweight, maybe sparking a mental block that makes starting seem impossible, or even like a punishment. We hear that a lot.
Yeah, it's incredibly easy to feel overwhelmed. To think of budgeting as just
Mhm.
restriction, limits. But that's precisely why we're here. We want to unpack this together and show you how it's not really about limiting yourself. It's truly about taking control, about directing your money and making it work for you in a powerful way.
So when we talk about budgeting, maybe flush that out a bit more. Why is it so crucial? Why do we keep saying it's the bedrock of financial health? What's the real power behind it?
Well, at its core, budgeting is essentially giving every single dollar you earn a job. Think of your money like a team. If you don't assign tasks, they just, well, wander off and you wonder where everything went at the end of the day. Budgeting is about telling each dollar exactly where to go. And here's something interesting. Many people think budgeting restricts freedom, but actually, it tends to increase financial freedom and significantly reduces stress because you're no longer just reacting to your money, you're directing it with intention.
Right, that shift from reacting to directing is huge. It helps you build towards those big goals too, doesn't it? Whether you're dreaming of a down payment, maybe that epic RV adventure across the country, or simply wanting a clearer, calmer picture of your spending each month. Less anxiety about bills. This is the roadmap to get there.
Exactly. It's about being proactive, turning those vague kind of someday dreams into actual actionable steps.
Okay, so how do we put this intention into practice? We've boiled it down to a simple 5-step process, something that hopefully demystifies budgeting and cuts through the noise, like a financial workout routine you can start today.
And it's vital to understand right from the start. This isn't a set it and forget it thing. It's not a one and done task. Think of it more like an ongoing conversation with your money
Hmm.
every month. It's dynamic, it evolves as your life changes, and that flexibility is, well, it's key to its success.
All right, let's get into step one.
Oh,
Step one, list your income. The very first step is pretty straightforward, but absolutely critical. You need to know exactly what's coming in. We're talking about listing all your income sources.
right. And specifically, we mean your net income here, that's the amount that actually hits your bank account after taxes, benefits, all those deductions are taken out.
Hmm.
This includes your regular paycheck, sure, but also any money from side hustles, freelance work, maybe rental income if you have it, even things like child support. You really want to account for every single dollar flowing into your household each month.
Okay, but I know a lot of people, myself included sometimes, struggle when their income isn't the same every month. Variable pay, seasonal work, freelancers. It can feel almost impossible to budget if you don't know exactly what's coming in. How do you tackle that variability without just throwing your hands up?
That's a really common and very valid concern. For irregular income, my advice is always budget based on the lowest amount you realistically think you'll bring in. That way, you're always covering your essentials, your bare minimums.
Mm.
Then, if you bring in more than expected later in the month, which often happens, well, that's great. You can then intentionally direct that extra money towards your financial goals. Maybe pay down debt faster, boost savings. It's much better to have a pleasant surprise than a shortfall.
Yeah, definitely better. Okay, so income is tallied. Step two must be step two. List your expenses. Okay, now that we've accounted for what's coming in, let's talk about where it all goes out. This is often the step where people feel that little knot in their stomach, maybe that fear of finding out the unvarnished truth, the moment of reckoning for spending habits.
It can feel daunting, yeah, but it's also incredibly illuminating, really powerful. The best way to tackle this is to actually go through your past bank and credit card statements. Don't just guess. Go back a month, maybe two, even three if you can, and track everything. I mean, every single purchase, that impulse coffee, the small online order, everything. This gives you a truly realistic snapshot of your actual spending habits. Not what you think you spend, but what you actually spend.
So once we have all that raw data, piles of receipts maybe,
Yeah.
how do we categorize it? And maybe more importantly, how do we prioritize it? Where do we start making sense of it all?
Great question. Because there's definitely a sort of natural hierarchy to your spending. We suggest prioritizing it like this. First, If giving is important to you, charity, church causes you, in many people choose to allocate a percentage here first. Maybe aim for around 10% right off the top.
Okay, giving first.
Second, pay yourself first. This is your savings. Building that emergency fund, absolutely vital, or saving for specific goals. House down payment, retirement, that RV we keep mentioning. Now, a really crucial point here. If you have high interest debt, like credit cards, you should probably prioritize paying that off aggressively before building up huge savings, beyond maybe a small starter emergency fund.
Right, because that interest is working against you.
Exactly. That debt can genuinely hold you back. So tackle that. Third, we have what we call the four walls. Think of these as your non-negotiable financial fortress, the absolute essentials that keep your life stable. Those are food, utilities, shelter, so rent or mortgage, and transportation. We want to make absolutely sure these foundational needs are covered first, always.
That makes perfect sense. But, as you list those four walls, what if someone listening realizes a huge chunk, like their rent or mortgage, is already eating up, say, more than half their income? That's a massive hurdle many people face, right? That feeling of being house poor.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where the term house poor really hits home. It can feel truly suffocating. It immediately makes your budget incredibly tight, leaving almost no room for other savings or debt repayment beyond minimums, or even much non-essential spending. We'll touch on strategies for that a bit later, but right here at this step 2, it's about seeing the reality of your situation clearly. If your fixed housing costs are that high, it shines a spotlight on the fact that you might need to explore more significant changes down the line. Maybe increasing income, maybe eventually finding ways to reduce those housing costs. It's tough stuff.
Okay, so after the four walls.
Right? After those are secured, you move to your other regular monthly expenses. Things like insurance, health, car, renters, any remaining debt payments, maybe trying to pay more than the minimum if you can swing it, childcare if that applies. And then you get to your non-essentials, personal spending, fun money, entertainment, and please, always include a miscellaneous line item or a buffer for those unexpected things that inevitably pop up, because they always do.
Yeah, they always do. I know the food category especially often feels like a moving target. It seems to fluctuate so much month to month. How do you pin that down? It absolutely does, and you're definitely not alone there. Food groceries. Eating out tends to be one of the most variable expenses for most households. Honestly, it usually takes a couple of months of really diligent tracking to get an accurate picture of what you're actually spending. So for now, just start with your best estimate based on those past bank statements you looked at, and be ready to adjust it next month and the month after. And remember, expenses can be fixed, like your rent, pretty much the same every month, or variable, like groceries or gas. Building that awareness and flexibility into your budget is just crucial.
Okay, makes sense. So income listed, expenses listed, and prioritized. What's step 3?
Step 3, make your money go to zero. Zero-based budgeting.
Right, here's where it gets really interesting. And maybe for some it sounds a little weird at first.
Yeah.
The goal is for your income minus your expenses to equal 0. Which doesn't mean you're spending every single cent until your account is empty, right? That's a common misconception.
That's such a critical distinction. Thank you for highlighting it. Zero-based budgeting does not mean your bank account literally hits $0. In fact, you should always aim to keep a small buffer in your checking account. Maybe $100, maybe $300, whatever feels comfortable, just for peace of mind and to avoid any accidental overdrafts. What zero-based does mean is that every single dollar you earn has been intentionally assigned a job before the month begins. You've directed it to spending, to giving, to saving, or to paying off debt. Your money isn't just sitting there idle, it's actively working hard for you according to your plan.
Okay, so what if I go through this exercise income minus expenses and I find I actually have money left over? After I've assigned dollars to everything I planned for, that sounds like a good problem. It is a good problem, but it still needs a plan. Don't let that extra money just sort of disappear into the ether. Because without a specific job, extra cash can easily get frittered away on impulse buys or small, unplanned things that don't really serve your bigger goals. Instead, put those surplus dollars straight to work. Direct them toward your current main money goal. Is it getting out of debt faster, beefing up your emergency fund, saving for that big purchase? Give every single one of those extra dollars a specific job.
Okay, makes sense. But the flip side, what if I do this calculation and I find I don't have enough? I end up with a negative number. That's where the panic can set in.
Okay, deep breath. This is a crucial moment, yes, but it's also a really powerful one. Because it's a clear, unavoidable signal that you're facing the financial truth. If you find yourself in the red, you have to go back through your budget categories, the ones you just listed in step 2, and cut expenses until you break even. Or, Ideally, get into the positive, even if it's just by a little bit.
Where do you usually start cutting?
Start with the discretionary spending first. Things like eating out, entertainment, subscriptions you barely use, maybe that daily coffee shop run. Those are often the easiest places to find immediate savings without impacting your core needs. Now, if you cut those things and you're still struggling to make ends meet, well, then you need to seriously consider the other side of the equation, increasing your income. That might mean looking for a side hustle, selling things you don't need anymore, maybe picking up extra shifts if possible. But the key thing to remember if you do increase income is don't let that automatically lead to increased lifestyle spending. That extra cash needs to become part of your planned budget, directed toward your goals, not just vanishing into thin air.
And this is also where that high interest debt we mentioned can really bite you, right? Pulling you into the negative.
Exactly. If you're in the red and you see large payments going towards high-interest credit cards, that reinforces why attacking that debt needs to be a major priority. It's actively working against your ability to break even.
Okay, so we've planned it all out, adjusted, made it zero-based. Now what? Step 4.
Step 4. Track your spending all month long.
Ah, the follow-through. A budget is really just, well, wishful thinking without this step, isn't it? It's like planning that marathon, but never actually lacing up your shoes and hitting the pavement. Tracking is truly the secret sauce that makes the budget work.
That's a perfect analogy. This is absolutely where the rubber meets the road. Tracking means knowing, in real time or close to it, exactly where your money is going throughout the month. Whether you decide to track daily, maybe every few days, or right after each purchase, the key thing is consistency. Find a rhythm that works for you. This real-time awareness gives you incredible agility. Let's say your electricity bill comes in higher than you budgeted for. Because you're tracking, you see it immediately. You can then consciously decide to shift, say, $20 from your eating out category to cover the difference, avoiding a potential problem later.
And it keeps you accountable, doesn't it? To yourself, and if you're budgeting with a partner accountable to each other, you're both seeing the same picture. It helps you avoid overspending because you can actually see how much is left in a category before you spend. Plus, tracking helps you identify those little sneaky spending habits that might be tripping you up. You start to see patterns you weren't aware of.
Absolutely. You learn so much about your own behavior.
Yeah.
And when it comes to how to track, you've got options. Choose what works for you. You could use simple pen and paper, like an envelope system. You could use a computer spreadsheet, tons of free templates online. Or you could use a budgeting app. Many of those apps now sync directly with your bank accounts and can automatically categorize transactions, which does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. The most important thing isn't the specific tool. It's finding a method that you'll actually stick with consistently. That's the game changer.
Okay, tracking consistently all month. Got it. Which leads us to the final step. Number 5.
Step 5. Make a new budget before the month begins.
So we're not just making one budget and then, laminating it and calling it done. This isn't a set it and forget it deal.
Definitely not. No 2 months are exactly the same, are they? Your budget needs to be a living, breathing document that reflects the reality of next month. Now, you can absolutely copy over the previous month's budget as your starting point. That saves a ton of time. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every single month. But then you need to make adjustments for anything new or different coming up in the upcoming month.
So we're looking for those month-specific expenses that pop up, right? Like birthdays, holidays, maybe seasonal costs.
Exactly. Think about things like back-to-school shopping, maybe in August, lawn care or spring planting costs in April, Christmas or holiday spending in December, or even those semi-annual or annual bills that hit in specific months, car insurance premiums, maybe property taxes, yearly subscriptions. These can really throw off a monthly budget if you don't plan for them ahead of time.
So how do you handle those?
It's incredibly helpful to create a dedicated category for these. You could call it something simple like month-specific stuff or maybe alternating expenses. That way, each month, you look ahead, add whatever lines you need for that specific month, like mom's birthday gift or car insurance premium, and you can delete the ones from last month that are no longer relevant. It just keeps your budget flexible and realistic month after month, which, as we've said, is just so crucial for making this stick long term.
It feels like the core message here, running through all 5 steps, no matter the specific challenge someone might face, irregular income, high housing costs, debt, is that true confidence in managing your money really comes down to consistency.
That's exactly it.
The more you engage with your budget, the more you track, the more you plan ahead for the next month, the easier it gets. And the more empowering it becomes. It really is a journey of continuous learning and adjustment, isn't it? Not just a one-time fix.
Perfectly said. It builds momentum.
Okay, I've got one more for you before we wrap things up here. Ready?
Oh, okay, I'm ready.
Why did the dollar bill go to the doctor?
Hmm. Why did the dollar bill go to the doctor?
Because it was feeling a little change in its pocket.
Oh, okay, you got me on that one. That's good. But on a more serious final note, as we close out this deep dive, just remember that budgeting truly puts you in the driver's seat of your financial life. It's not about restriction, it's about empowerment. It's an act of deep self-care, really. So for you listening right now, think about this. What one small, tangible step can you take today to either start or improve your budget? Maybe it's simply gathering your last couple of bank statements just to see where the money actually went, or maybe it's downloading one of those budgeting apps we mentioned just to explore it. Just take that single step, because that's where the journey to financial peace truly begins.
That's all for now, folks. Please like, share, and subscribe for more like this.